How you doing? This is George with Truck Driver Nation. In freight dispatching, you're dispatching trucks, and one of the things that you're going to find out that you're going to need is other owner operators. So where do you get these owner operators? Even truck drivers themselves, where do you get these truck drivers? Now, there's more than one way to get these folks, but what we're going to cover today is aggregate systems. And obviously, what they actually do for you when helping finding these candidates in a relation to kind of like their applicant tracking recruiting systems and for freight dispatching, trucking staff and freight operations. So the whole point, what is an aggregate system? It combines multiple recruiting and hiring functions in one platform. They usually include applicant tracking system. I don't use it. CRM features. I don't use it. Candidate communication. You get the ads in, and then and the reason I'm not using these is because they're not very integrated. They don't make it easy for me. I got to go through so many steps just to get communication with the people that I'm needing to speak with. They've got it now where you can no longer, to some degree, bulk respond with the same thing because they're all looking for the same thing. So why wouldn't one message suffice? And depending on how they're integrated with the carriers like Verizon, T-Mobile, or whatever it is, if they have SMS features or texting features, which is still SMS, you still got to worry about all of them don't have it implemented into the aggregate system. Some have to be independent bulk texting messages type of capability to where I've got to get everybody opted in. Okay. And that's to prevent spam, but that is the campaign registry that the federal government apparently with all their wisdom has put in place, and it hurts us for people like us in logistics where we're actually needing to talk to you. We don't have time to go around the world to get back to you because the trucks are sitting, or we need operators, there's freight to be moved, that type of thing. Candidate communication, that communication comes in three different forms for me. The main ones I use is going to be whether we're going to be SMSing them, emailing them, or actually calling them on the phone. Calling on the phone is probably the worst. You cannot talk to that many people. So many people go through the aggregate system, respond to the ad because they're going out to like ZipRecruiter, Indeed, Glassdoor, Monster, and all these other platforms. And they've got where you can do quick click on these, and they're not reading the ads. I don't need all of these people. I just need the folks that are actually owner operators that have their MC, for example, or I need somebody that's qualified with X number of years that be to be a driver, let's say for a dry van truck. And it's just all over the place, and they click, 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 and then what you get because they actually score us on these filing systems is going to be a percentage of these. If you get too many people opting out or saying stop, that all counts against you. Legitimate business, born in the United States, been in logistics over 30 years. Okay. And this is problematic. Yes, there's some GSM stuff you can use where you're using phones with SIM cards, you're having to buy data plans. But if you saw how expensive they were, extremely expensive just to board one individual. What if you just need a few people in general? It's hard to get these people, or you're doing it for like us. We do a truck driver recruiting and we're doing freight dispatching. And also we teach a freight dispatching program. It makes it an uphill battle. Yes, we use social media, but the days of even using the tags are kind of gone. So you got to actually be more integrated into the content based on the people that are looking at it, and that actually propels your exposure further out there. Job posting distribution. They give you a problem if you want to post the same job. So I'm trying to get the same job with the same thing that I need for all of them. And I'm having to convert that ad to multiple formats so that it doesn't read the same thing. And in addition to, you can't get them to communicate directly back with you. How that plays out, I don't know. But that being said, I'm gonna tell you from my end, it's probably the worst things I've seen because it's still delaying us from the ability to communicate with the people that need to go to work and our need for those people to come to work. Um, Workflow automation, it's not necessarily, I mean, it's part of your workflow or your funnel because you still got to keep funneling these people down to get the quality, not the quantity of leads that you need for the given position that you're offering, which makes it very time detrimental. Not detrimental to the problem solving, but detrimental to the time that you're wasting doing these different points. Team collaboration. Yes, you can work as a team. But still, you know, when you're doing a team in these, what I've seen is that I've got everybody doing it, and I've got multiple people clicking on the same ads because you're part of this team. And you got, the little icons that has who's in there, and so everybody's stepping on each other. Um, and so now you got to come up with a code. Even in Zoho, for example, I've seen it where you got to come up with a code wherever you have to tell everybody, okay, do this, so that way we're not stepping on each other. That's not that great to say software, and they're charging a lot for this software. Okay. Um, Reporting and analytics, it gives you the information, lets you know who. Now that I've got to give, it gives me more insight where my data is going to and coming from. Kind of like Google Analytics, right? But Google Analytics is really definitely helps you keep your funnel more straightened out. And when you're looking at this, if there's anything that you're seeing that you know better than me, please, I'm asking you to reach out. Let me know. We got our website, Truck Driver Nation. We got QR codes. Click on it. Got one for Telegram where you can communicate directly with me. I'm always willing to share what we have with you, even in this base knowledge. That's the reason I make these. So you're not going against the grain trying to achieve something, but the whole time you've got software and these people that are running their companies that are not listening to your needs, and they're able to make adjustments so it fits your needs based on your company, on what you're doing. Scheduling and interview coordination, everybody's all over the place. I do them in webinars. I literally make it so, I engage them. I go under the implied consent because that's the only way you can get a hold of them, without trying to send out another message, which becomes extremely expensive on the SMS side. So what I do is I reach out and say, hey, we received your application. Are you interested in knowing more about the given position that you applied for? If they say yes, I tell them, obviously send us your email so we can communicate with you. And then I start communicating through email because I can send a lot more information, including content videos of what we're offering. Come look at our website, that type of stuff. So the goal is to create one centralized system for sourcing, tracking, and managing candidates. That's what you're hoping for, but it's not user friendly on the ones that I'm going to cover that I've seen. Now, right now, I'm actually dealing with Breezy. It's not just the software that we're having a problem with, but even the call representatives. They're outsourced. They're from the Philippines. And a lot of stuff that we're talking about, they don't understand because they're running off a script. And you have to get the case escalated. Why should I have a case for a piece of software that I needed to perform the task that's what they're telling me when they're trying to sell it to me? Yes, it can cover your needs as a independent freight dispatcher, so you can source owner operators or source other staff. And they try to hold you in one category based on those ads. And I'm in trucking and logistics, everything is elbow to elbow. You know, the freight dispatcher works with the recruiter, which gets that driver that he has as owner operator, so he can dispatch them in conjunction with anybody else that's coordinated in here. What are we teaching? Where are we educating each other? There's not schools for a lot of this stuff that we do. Most companies have to do in-house training to bring you up to speed on your given business practices on how your day-to-day operations work. The next thing, why companies use aggregate systems? It's supposed to be to organize hiring pipelines. You building a pipeline is constantly a thing of leads, but the conversion rates are really low. They don't give you the truth about the conversion rates. I may get 9 or 10% of people engaging into the application, right? So I got them. Now I have to actually skim those down. So by the time I get to the webinar where we have the presentation, in addition, that I'm having to constantly send out secondary emails or SMS if I'm going to set up on like an autoresponder type of deal, that where just to keep them engaged, let them know that the particular webinar is up and coming. So my choice is, I have a VA, so that means I got to pay somebody else. So if this stuff had been automated, whether it's the aggregate system or whatever bulk texting method you're going to use, then it should handle everything without you having to chase it. And I don't see it. And we're talking about with the AI integration and everything that's supposed to be there. So it reduced manual tracking. I've never seen a real way where you can track them. We get them. If they decide to go ahead and sign up, for example, for a course, or they decide to come work for us, those actually get into the work paper flow and we get them processed. Outside that, we still have to do another email to follow up with everybody to see why they fell through the cracks. I mean, if you have a change of heart, that's one thing. But if you were already looking for logistics positions, then we should be the ones that obviously you should have contacted You can literally contact me directly through Telegram. I don't use the phone lines. I do, and when I'm talking about taking phone calls with general people interested in stuff, whether they're looking for a truck driving position or a freight dispatching position, or they want to be trained into the industry, so we can assist them and mentor them on how we actually make money, so they can start making money by helping other people, like owner operators, for example. But that being said, overall, I try to direct everybody to Telegram because it's a separate system. It's like my load board, for example. It is literally where I keep everybody at, whether they're a truck driver, they're a student, they're with the safety department, with the carrier, people, my VAs, everybody's in there. Okay. And that way I can address their needs as needed. Like if they need contracts, I know what to give them. If they buy something, yes, we sit, but they can always reach out and get direct contact with me. And then all I do is copy it or forward it to the department that needs to go to. Yes, they can automatically click on a QR code where it'll take them directly to them, but sometimes it don't. People get sidetracked depending on what they're clicking on. But we can more or less direct who needs to go to what so everybody can do their job and help who needs to be helped. Y'all got to excuse me. What did I eat? Grilled cheese. Yeah, that got me, gave me heartburn. So the next thing is improve recruiter efficiency. Recruiter efficiency is working a pipeline, no matter how it is. Yeah, you're going to work a pipeline. I find out who's serious, who's not. People just asking questions. Some people just bored with their lives. They don't realize that it affects our overall productivity as a business. But some people we have to actually block, and that's sad. I wish they had the money to take our courses, or they had the skill set to actually be a freight dispatcher. Even being a truck driver recruiter, we were giving people tons of leads. Here's the carriers. This is the profile. Match them with them, and you get paid. They don't have the work ethic. So the whole point behind all this is to get rid of all the people that are in the way to get the ones that actually really want our help. And it just don't really do that. And I don't have the true answer for it. We do a series of questions type of deal, everything we're trying to do to chop the people out of the way so we can get to the ones that really need our help. But time efficiency is not that great as far as time efficiency. Even if you use an AI bot type of system, because they have them out there now where you can put it inside your website, but unless the people are going to engage in it, because they consider it, some of them are on time wise or how many interactions they have with somebody asking questions. They consider that like almost kind of like closing a case. Like they had a file, they closed it, and now you're going to pay for that based on whatever that rate is. That's what I've got out of it so far. If there's some other ways out there, I'm going to wear it at this given point. But centralized communication, we communicate between ourselves, but it gives them a spot. We try to focal everybody and funnel them toward us so we can assist them. But when you're dealing with this software, these aggregate systems, there's a central place that you can put your ads up so you can put them out there, but there's no centralized communication. Every one of them job boards are independent. You got to call those job boards directly if you need any assistance. Like Indeed has literally blacklisted me because I used to work for a lot of trucking companies and I was putting out ads for them, and I've always kept the same numbers, and somehow they put me on their list and there's nobody to ask for assistance. I mean, there's nothing. Literally, you're out, and that's the way it is. And we've tried to build new businesses because I don't want to change identifying factors that are my footprint in the virtual world. But that's what they're trying to force me to do. So I just do it the best I can without Indeed. And that's all that can be expected, to me to push forward because they're not wanting to help us out and understand that we literally are in logistics. Track applications easier. You can find them easier. We got one task: find people for logistics. It's either one thing: truck driver recruiter, or you're a freight dispatcher, or you're somebody that needs training to become a freight dispatcher. That's literally the three things that we have, the main things for these job applications. Any outsource help that we source, we actually source them directly with those countries because we do use outsource help. It saves the people that we work with, the students and everything, a lot of money. It makes them a lot more profitable, and they got people that working for them. Even if they don't have no experience, they got somebody experienced working for them. Improve follow-up processes. That's still part of that funnel system. There's still gaps all in it. There's no 100% proof of a funnel that keeps everything where you're not it's like having a fishing net and you still got fish getting out. That's exactly what it is. Scale recruiting operations. Yeah, well, you can only scale as much as you possibly can handle in relation to those one-on-one calls to make sure people meet the profiles. Um, some of them are good, some of them are bad, depending on the profiles themselves too. The profile itself is a selling point. Is it going to be a good enough fit for you to actually meet your financial needs at the end of the day if you're going to actually be a truck driver? But as far as scaling your recruiting operations, it gives me more opportunity to bring people in, like place ads and stuff. But the aggregate systems actually hold us back on how many we can put in there. And even on the data, it has to be a plain Jane, no bells and whistles, trying to express your personality, what kind of business you are. It's just, here's the job, respond to it if you're interested in it. That's what it comes down to. You can't put your company name in it, no phone numbers, no video links, no website links or nothing. They have to apply through there, and then you get a list of the name, phone numbers, and emails that people now you're going to start responding out through SMS texts. And that's obviously the first one that everybody uses. You want them to get the opt in that they want to know more information and that type of stuff. So it's not perfect by a long shot. But do I have an answer for an alternative? That's it. What even makes it worse? I don't. Um, Automate repetitive tasks. We still have to have our VAs to kind of fill in some of these things because when it comes to some of the files, some of them don't export, and that sucks. So I got people copying and pasting stuff out of these leads. Some of them do. Like for example, I believe, what was it? I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was every one of them. I see a problem with them. Nobody really has just completely export everything. Um, but the main thing I need is their name, phone number, and email. So if I can get that part, then I'm good to go. I think Breezy does less export, but it don't like all the emails, it's one email at a time. You can't really do more than one email, sending them back out because they're all responding for that exact same position. And it's the same common next step that you want to do to trim down on that quantity to get the quality of lead. And so there's a hindrance in there. Um, and there's not a lot of notification stuff that I see that give me flags and stuff. So, hey, you got a new inquiry. It will send your email, but now you got your email bug clogged up with all these things that you one at a time. That's not effective. Common industry uses for them. Staffing agencies use these. For dispatching companies use them. Truck driver recruiting, remote staffing, corporate hiring teams, and call centers. So obviously we use them. Um, the promise versus the reality. The promise is it's this all-in-one solution, less chaos, faster hiring, better automation, easier scaling. The reality is some systems become expensive extremely fast, customization limitations, workflow bottlenecks, manually workarounds still needed, and you're telling them what you need and they're not listening to you. Not always designed for trucking. Scaling can expose weaknesses, a lot of them, and that's the complaint. So the first one, I've used applicant stack. I only do go talking. I'm going to talk about the ones that the only ones that I've used when it comes to the aggregate systems. One's applicant stack. It was probably one of the first ones I had ever used. When I first used, not Zoho, but I'll get to it in a minute. But there was one of them that I used. It was really not user friendly. But as far as applicants Stack, it is a simple application tracking system, has a good workflow organization to the most part, decent onboarding features, yes, but each feature takes time. There's your enemy. Easy pipeline visibility, not too bad, but can't remember if you can export. I don't think I could export out of this. Good for smaller staffing teams, yes. Helps centralize recruiting. It brings everything into one file. But as you start moving the files of what you're using, things start getting shuffled because you can't just keep coming back to that one board. And it takes a lot of time to fill out all the mess. I just need their name, phone number, email because I need to see if they're interested. Are you really interested? Now, that's the reason the webinar, I just put everybody in webinar. Let's have a discussion. By the time you get to the end of it, we have a Q&A, and then you can make your own decision. Do you actually want to trust us? Because the trust factor is a big thing because, yes, we live and breathe it, but they don't. So them not living and breathing it makes them skeptical. Well, what are your actual intentions? Or what is your skill set? How much of this can you teach me? People don't understand. Me reading crap and telling you right off some list that helps me remember everything, it's one thing. But until you ask me the questions where you're hurting at, I can answer 'em. Easy peasy, not a problem. But you have to answer them. I mean, ask me the questions. I don't know where you're at in your growth and development, and that's a big problem for people. I wish there was a better way that we could use apps to make that happen, but there's not a lot out there still. Uh, but the cons about this can feel outdated, which it absolutely does. Limited modern automation, absolutely. None of them are catching up. Customization limitations, totally to limited. In my personal opinion, you just don't have a lot of features that that really are going to help me out as far as being able to make it more effective and as far as getting people boarded. People on a time schedule. Their mindset shit. One day they're on 1 minute they're on this, and the next day they're on I want to be a gopher killer. The gophers that pop out of the holes, you know what I mean? People are not the stability in somebody's mindset and their schedule and what they want to do doesn't stay on schedule. I mean, on track. Limit when you're doing reels and videos, they're less than 60 seconds. That's how long they figure the human attention span, if that. User interface may feel older. It absolutely does. Feels slow and sluggish. Reporting limitations. There ain't a lot of help. Everything's kind of outsourced. They got some little chat box, and you're trying to get them to understand, and they're in a different country running off a script. Not trucking Pacific, no, but when you're in trucking, you only got so many things that we can do, and this really kills it. People, trucking companies complain. We need to fill these trucks up. They're sitting out in the yard. They got insurance, truck payments and everything, but they don't understand if they don't improve this, that there's not a lot we can do. Every bit of it is taking time to process. It needs to be more automated to close those gaps so you can fill it in faster. And if I had somebody that knew how to develop this software, man, I could work with them. I could tell them every single thing that not only would get the information, and you could do it basically a psych evaluation on them. In addition to run the hardcore data that's based on actually having a CDL or being in the logistics industry, it could just streamline this so much faster so you could get to the ones that are actually viable. And actually, 10th Street is one of the few people that I've talked with, and I forgot what I mentioned to them, but they incorporated something I told them. But that being said, these companies, when I talk to them, they're not wanting to listen to me in that aspect of understanding what is being needed and what they're holding me back as a company from being able to do. And they're trying to give me workarounds. And I know they can't meet every need, but there should be a common platform that every industry kind of needs that doesn't leave you so far out into the desert that you can't find, how you're going to get readjusted to the situation, and you're just lingering problems on and on and on with no true answer. Now they're best for, as far as applicant stack, it's going to be best for small staffing agencies. We use it still. Right now I'm not using it, but also for basic recruiting operations and entry level ATS users. That's applicant tracking systems, and that's about what it's good for. Now, Jazz HR is one I don't know I'm going to use them, but we're going to talk again. I'm going to see what the price is on this. They don't understand without the conversions. That means people going to work, wanting to learn how to be a freight dispatcher. Where the hell do you think the money comes from? If you can work with me, I can make the money because I'm doing my part, and then you can give me more services and whatever. You're trying to get everything at once, and you're sinking me with all the excess overhead that should never even exist. This is the virtual world. Okay. The software is built. We're not doing trillions of applicants, but they act like that. And it actually hurts us. But Jazz HR, this is a easy job posting management to the most part. Last time I used it, it wasn't very user friendly. So this is going to be something I'm probably have to update this one. User friendly dashboard. It wasn't last time I used it. Good calibration tools. The guy's going to train me. We're going to go over it. And we're going to see. Affordable for some small businesses. We'll see. Right now I'm paying about $1,000 a month on a very basic end on some of this stuff. to just keep it up and going while we're trying to figure this problem out. It's not a matter of the money. If you're making money, who cares? Spend money. It takes money to make money, but you can't spend money when they're trying to milk you and their services and products are not helping with what we use as a pipeline. Good candidate tracking, yes, just like any of them. The data's in there, so you can find them, look them up, search them, all that stuff. The same thing that you can get out of Google Forms or Google Sheets or even Excel, you know. Let's see what else we got. The cons about it: limited advanced automation, same problem. Scaling challenges, reporting may feel limited. Customization restrictions can require outside tools. It sure does. Limited trucking specific functionality. Now, that being said, does there feel like there's a trend going on with this? Same problems, you know. Why they're not, and if I'm reporting this and telling you guys about my reviews when it comes to aggregate systems and what they're looking for, I mean, what they're used for and how they're going to help you. So far, I haven't given you a lot to justify how they really are helping you. The main thing that they're doing is putting those jobs out there on the job board so I can get leads. After I get the leads, then it falls into my problem. How am I going to handle those leads, control those leads, and make sure as we're funneling them that everybody's going to the right direction and getting the right amount of attention to keep them on board to show the professionalism and the transparency of how we can help them. If I can't even help them by getting them signed up or getting them to where we can present what we're offering, it didn't do no good. Now, this is best for small to medium businesses. I'm not sure. Basic recruiting pipelines, it is basic. Companies need easier hiring organization. That's the whole point why you use them anyways. You want to be organized. You don't want to let people fall through the cracks. Well, I tried to contact you, but nobody ever helped me. I hear that all the time. Okay. So how did that happen? It has to do with the software because we're going through their software and utilize it in the best format we can. And like I tell people, if you want it, I hate telling my clients that you got to reach out to me. If you want me, you literally got to reach out to me. If you get in my face, I can get you through the program. But the thing is, I can't explain to them that's because the aggregate system doesn't keep us up to speed in the way that we need to know that if we were using green, yellow, red, that you are definitely a green, or you were a yellow, meaning you was more or less on the line, straddling the fence on which way you should go, and you're red, you're totally out or you're not qualified. So Breezy HR. What can I say about Breezy HR? This one I can get because this is the one I'm actively using for a while now. And I've got a bunch of complaints about it because I've been in the door. Now, the other ones I've used, but I can't testify 100% because they could have changed over the time frame. So I wasn't so hard on them. Breezy HR, modern interface, no. Easy pipeline management, no. Good visual workflow system. Yeah, it's pretty easy workflow, but some of the integration, the way it brings other people into that same platform, whether you're placing the ads or actually looking at the candidates they're applying, is not so easy to track in that sense. If I was putting a spreadsheet, all I can really tell is there's the names, phone numbers, and emails, and maybe an ID code. But when it comes to the job description, that's the biggest factor. I can tell which position they're in. But what date they came in, by the time you put all that on a sheet, it don't work. And they should make it where you can talk to it. You know, these applications should make it where I can talk to them. Hey, I need 10 of these people that met, if we went through and it asked questions and stuff, and could they scale them out to bring the best candidates to the forefront, then that's what it needs to happen. It's software. And they're not doing nothing to help you. Yeah, I'd fill in the data, I'd fill in the questions, I'd fill in whatever it needs, but they don't give you that option. It should be part of the programming that you get AI help from AI inside the application. But I mean, we're talking like really me talking to it, but it's not there. Oh yeah, we're going places. They're dragging their feet. They're bleeding it for the money they can. And there's other people probably cutting edge, but I haven't found them yet. So if you know anything, please let me know. But we still have to be with it. It ain't cutting my throat to bleed me out for every penny because we have to operate. Now, if we're making money, absolutely. Hey, you guarantee you, yeah, absolutely. I will pay whatever you really want as long as that money stays up. Let's see, good visual workflow. Okay, easy calibration for recruiting teams. Collaboration for recruiting teams. If I've got more than one person on the recruiting, I really haven't seen how we were able to not step on each other. We definitely stepped on each other. Oh, that was mine. How the hell was I supposed to know? It just shows that you're on there, but any of us could have been on there, depending on who touched the ad, because you're part of a group. Simple onboarding experience. As far as getting it, yeah, they're selling you a dream. Once you get it and fight to get everything on there, and they start putting restrictions on you, saying, well, you can only do 300 leads now or 300 applications now. They all have to be different. And they've actually got it in there where you could put hyperlinks. But if you put the hyperlink in there, they will actually kick it off. So they're letting you put the hyperlink on it, but then they won't yet let you use the hyperlink when it goes out to the job boards. Good for organizing candidate workflow. Not really, because by the time you get in that, you want them out of the candidate thing because you're actively working for them. Working with them because you're trying to get them into, if they're going to be freight dispatching or get their applications for the trucking company, or if they're wanting to attend the school, get their contract signed so you can get all the software turned on so they can start attending the classes. Excuse me, y'all. I'm really sorry I'm coughing. I got snow bears. I don't know if y'all familiar with those, but I might end up having to take one. But that being said, what else we got? The cons of it, extremely expensive as you scale. For what they're giving you, it ain't worth the money. Add-on cost every time you turn around. Limited trucking and workflows, very limited. Weak DOT and CDL specific functionality, there ain't none. Manually, workarounds needed. I couldn't even get nobody to help to even get a workaround. They even got it on there where you can clone the same ads. So they're giving us hell. Well, you're cloning the ads, or your ads all look the same, and you're changing the city and state. Your software is literally letting us, now you're penalizing us, keeping us from putting more ads out to draw in more people because, we need as many people as we can to find out where we're the right fit. Are they the right fit for us, or we're the right fit for them based on their needs? Let's see what else. Communication management can become messy. Communication management can become messy, especially when you're dealing with them. You're trying to get a hold of their customer service. It is absolutely unknown what the results are going to look like. Escalation. If it hadn't been for my wife being a BPO call center person, when I met her, everything would look a lot worse than what it is. Automation may feel limited for high volume recruiting. Of course, it's going to look convoluted and messed up because it's looking that way on the small scale that we're still at. We're only doing, give and take, we were doing a lot more, but now we're down to like 4,000 people a week. So that sounds like a lot, but when you're doing a 2 to 3% conversion, that means they're actually coming to school and stuff like that. That's not extremely great. I don't know what to say about that. This is best for general recruiting teams. I wouldn't really say that. Small staffing companies, probably. Companies with simpler hiring structures, absolutely. Don't be in anything complex where you need to judge more data and everything because with us, it's the FMCSA, Department of Transportation. They got certain requirements, driver's license, medical card, background checks, 10-year background on their application, all that. Then this absolutely not really great for this at all. Other aggregate systems worth mentioning. You got Workable, never used them. I know who they are. Greenhouse, I don't know who they are. Lever, I've seen them. Zoho Recruit, I've used them. I didn't use all the facets of them because it was a combination of Breezy and Zoho together. Um, why trucking exposes weakness. Most aggregate systems were not built specifically for freight dispatching, owner operation recruiting, CDL verification, DOT compliance, carrier onboarding, safety workflows, and driver qualification management. But 10th Street is. If you don't know 10th Street, Driver Pulse, if you're in logistics like we are, that's where you need to be going. Woo, expensive. Okay. But I haven't had a chance to use them yet because we're not where we can afford to do $600 just for a subscription and then still turn around and put another $600 out for our advertisement so we can source the drivers we need because the conversion rates are low. They really are low. Everybody go 2-3%. That's bullshit. People putting out, wanting to go to work, and saying they want to go to work, and they're still shopping. There needs to be some way to fix that, but nobody seems to think it's worth fixing. How can you get people to work if you're letting them bounce like a bouncing ball? Oh, freedom or whatever. You got to control the machine. It's literally the baseline, the pulse of the United States is our interstates, our transportation systems. And if you let people bounce and bounce and bounce, they're all over the place. Turnover rates high, downtime on equipment, everything. It's not a workable program. Um, let's see. Result companies often create manual workarounds outside the software. That's exactly what we're having to do. But the problem is, it takes a lot of time, and time efficiency is everybody's absolute goal. But it's bad out of alignment. Now, the biggest pros of aggregate systems, well, what they do well, they create structure, organize applications, they improve visibility, they help team collaboration, reduce some manual processes, speed up communication, create centralization for hiring systems. Every one of these I could complain about. That's a bad thing. Why is it that I'm looking at every one of these and I can make a complaint? I should be saying how great they are, but you haven't heard me say anything great about any of them yet. Okay. The main thing you're going to get out of these at the final end is just going to be that you're using them to put job ads out and get results of people interested in it. Then you need to pull everything out and start working it manually across spreadsheets and stuff. That's your best absolute option. Build you a funnel system. It's manual funnel system, but right now I don't have nothing that's in my hands I can say. And I've been looking. I look hard all the time, as much time as I can spend. I got everybody. I give somebody a task. This is your job. Look for it, and they don't come back with anything newer than what I've already seen that's out there. Now it says why businesses actually like them. They're easier for scaling. Um, Easier to delegate. Yes, you can give it off to people and they can delegate as far as they may not know what they're doing, but you can delegate it out to people. Easier management oversight. Yeah, everything's there. It's straight and dry, but you need results. Just needed you to manage it. I need you to actually produce results with this software. Cleaner recruiting pipelines. Yes, the information goes in the blocks and you can find it, but you still have to process it. And if you can't process it effectively through the software and with possible whatever integration, then you're still might as well be back to a pencil and piece of paper. The biggest cons of aggregate systems, oh yeah. Common complaints. Cost increases as companies grow. Thing is, the cost is stupid straight out the gate for what you're getting and what you're needing. It doesn't meet it. Software lock in. Yep. You're not able to do a lot with it other than just the basic necessity of their flow. Weak industry specific customization, exactly what I'm dealing with. Automation limitations, absolutely. Still needing spreadsheets and outside tools every damn day. Training staff on complicated workflows. There's the problem. Instead of this being an all-in-one workflow, all-inclusive, I've got to use other stuff. Man, I'm still using Excel spreadsheets, Google Forms, other stuff to minimize these people and try to get a better tune of who they are. They could incorporate this into the software, and they are not. Training staff. Okay, I did that one. Multiple subscriptions still required. You have to build basically a tech stack to some degree to make this work, and that's ridiculous. Now, whether they own multiple layers of tech stack, remember, it's business, so they could possibly own it, and they're trying, get the inside of some of them. I've seen where they're actually offering subscriptions to other platforms that I'm sure that they own. So be advised about that. Biggest frustration: businesses often adapt to the software instead of the software adapting to the business. Man, that's almost like a proverb out of the Bible. That's right on the money. Questions businesses should ask before buying. Does this fit my industry? Just had a long conversation. I'm going to talk to the guy again Friday and go over everything. And this is exactly what I'm going to need to build to make sure I've got to make sure it fits me for what I do in the logistics industry. Can it scale? Is the scaling affordable? How customizable is it? Will I still need outsourced outside tools? Does it support trucking workflows? How difficult is Migration later, I guess moving to another platform because if you got all your data in there, now you got to move it to another platform if you decide to build your own platforms or transition out of it. Is automation truly useful? For one, without AI and you've been able to talk to the system and be able to communicate with it outside of punching numbers and stuff, you're not there yet. You know, and AI is limited even on it. They got all these restrictions. I don't do no paid courses because I really afford them. But that being said, I have to actually do it in a manual way. And because the conversion rate's so low, if they make the software better, the conversion rate would go up, then make you be able to afford these things. But they're high, they're sight about what they're doing. Like, I'm gonna put it like this. Inside Truck Driver Nation, we give everything. And that's what people don't get. They literally don't believe us. I'm like, dude, hell, it's easier for me to give it to you than me sit there and trying to nickel and dime and explain every time. Take it, use it. If you're trying to be good, I'm going to network with you. I'm concentrating on Truck Driver Nation, freight dispatching, those type of things. I'm not worried about the damn peas and carrots. I need the steak. Um, next thing is, does it improve operations or just organize them? It just organizes them. But that's one of the questions you need to ask when you're looking at these aggregate systems. Give me a second. I'm actually putting this into a file because I'm going to need to reapproach this given file to make sure that these questions are being asked even for myself. Final thoughts. Key takeaway. Aggregate systems can absolutely help organize recruiting and staffing operations, but no platform is perfect. They're not even attempting to make it perfect. The larger and more specialized your operation becomes, the more important is the customization, the flexibility, industry-specific workflows, and operational efficiency. More important it becomes. So, that being said, your whole thing behind all of it is you need to answer the right questions before you get in these systems. Problem is, you ain't got much of a choice. So, me doing this one, I'm letting you know what aggregate systems really can do for you and what they absolutely cannot do for you in a big way. But that being said, if anybody knows anything out there, it's not just a presentation I'm giving you. Reach out to me, Truck Driver Nation. I'm gonna put on the front thing, I'm gonna put a QR code. It'll give you straight to my Telegram. Please come and tell me what you know. If you've got something that is helpful, I don't mind paying. I don't want to wait around for it to develop. I need it up and going, ready to do what it needs to do. I would definitely appreciate it. But as far as this content, I hope this helped you out. Gave you some insight on my personal experiences dealing with these platforms. Those are the three that I've dealt with, which is Breezy, Applicant Stack, and Jazz. So that being said, I hate to throw so much negativity on a piece of software, but maybe somebody else see it and it's like, oh, you ain't learning how to use it right. Yeah, if that's what you think. Okay. If I haven't using it right, then your integration and automation and AI integration and whatever else we have now, you haven't incorporated in. So I shouldn't even be off path with where we are now in technology. So I don't want to hear that. And I think everybody should be able to agree with that point. But that being said, make sure to go to Truck Driver Nation. If you want to become a freight dispatcher or you're interested in being a recruiter, we need people. I hope this content helped. But outside that, I sure appreciate your time and thank you for your attention. And I'd love to hear your feedback, comments, like or subscribe. That helps me in some form. I don't monetize this stuff. I just build it because I need content to keep people engaged, to understand what we do and what we understand in the overall, not just the logistics aspect, but in the software aspect on how we can help people that are coming through our program or working with us on how we can point you in the right direction through our mentorship to understand what works and what doesn't. Okay. So there's nothing like a learning curve. And this is one of the things that gets part of that learning curve out of it. How are you going to handle your leads and your flow of that data? But anyways, thank y'all guys so much. Everybody be blessed. And I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you.